Welcome players to another spooky tutorial on Press Start to Draw, and today we're going to be drawing the dancing demon himself, Bendy, from Bendy and the Ink Machine. Alright guys, let's go ahead and get started on this drawing. So first, go ahead and make a circle on your paper, upper part I suggest, and just make a nice medium-sized circle. Just sketch it, you can be rough as possible. And then make a center line right down the middle and make an eye line towards the bottom. And then we're going to go ahead and make his Pac-Man-like eyes on both sides. And at the bottom, touching the line, the eye line, is going to be his happy little smile. And of course, adjust the size of your circle if you need to. The edges are kind of close to the Pac-Man eyes, so if you need to make some adjustments, do so. And there's like he has a widow's peak on the top, so make sure you have that as well. Now I'm erasing the center and the eye lines, and then I made his teeth right there. Sharpen around my edges. But this is still a sketch, so don't worry. Neatness is not necessary here. And then, around his head, I'm going to go ahead and make a Mandy haircut. If you don't know what Mandy, she's this girl from the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. It's this cartoon show, and it reminds me of her haircut. Or devil horns, if you will, since Bendy is a demon. And around his entire body will be this silhouette or frame around him to give off that 1930s animation style that the game is going with. And now we're going to go ahead towards the bottom. We're going to make the tie and his jelly bean-like body. Pretty simple. Again, don't worry about being neat. And of course, continue that frame. And now we're going to make his bendy-like arms. And with that comes with his claw hands, which are made up of 4 fingers, the thumb, and 3 fingers down below. Now for the gloves, I went with a 3 ovalish shape details on the gloves, but I went with 2 circles. You can do whichever design fits your style, doesn't really matter. And then the same treatment with the arm, having it bend a little bit, kind of like his name, Bendy. And of course continue with that frame or that outline around his body. And don't worry if you cut off here, it's fine, but when we are going to go over him with Sharpie, you might want to be a little bit more careful because the lines of the frame are not supposed to intersect with each other. Now we're going to go ahead and make the 2 legs. Pretty simple. He has boots at the bottom, pretty big boots, so make sure they match up a little bit with the length of his hands. And then 2 big circles to give that shine effect on his boots or shoes. And of course, making the frame and outline around the shoes. Alright guys, once we're done with that, if you want, you can go ahead and grab an ultra point Sharpie, but before that you might want to place a paper right behind the paper that you're drawing at, just so the ink doesn't bleed through to other pages. Because we are going to be using a lot of ink for this drawing. Now I'm going to use to outline our Bendy is we're going to use a fine point, but you can really use any type of Sharpie, but it is easier, I found it easier to use an ultra fine point to outline him, and then a just regular fine point Sharpie to color him. So make sure you are very slow with this process, because Sharpie is permanent. And then go ahead and erase all the pencil lines. And now once we're done with that, we're ready to color all the black parts of our Bendy. Now of course you can use black color pencil if you want, but if you really want to give off that ink effect, of course you want to use marker. It's made of ink. So you can do that if you want. So what I did with coloring Bendy, I used just light strokes. I didn't really press too hard. Of course, if you do, you have the risk of ripping the paper, so I would be as careful as possible. That was a voice crack, my bad. And just do nice, steady, light strokes here and there. Now I'm finishing up here. If you mess up with the frame, don't worry about it. As you can see on the left arm, I kind of mess up a little bit, but don't worry if you do. It's just a minor little mistake. But of course, you do want to be slow and careful with this process. And now, once you're done with that, you can, if optional, color the yellow, color Bendy with a yellow mask, if you will. I kind of shade around his eyes with a dark yellow, trying to give off that film grain effect, you know, trying to make it look old 1930s style type of animation. And just do that for the gloves and pretty much any white part around him, including the frame and his gloves and the shine on his boots and of course his face. And I also added some dark shading, some dark yellow near his fingertips. I use a golden yellow, but you can use a regular yellow color pencil. And of course, if you have anything to sharpen, do that with the Sharpie, of course. And guys, once you're done with that, you have a creepy little demon from Bendy and the Ink Machine. Alright guys, well that's it for today's drawing tutorial. Stay tuned for more Spooktober drawing tutorials coming throughout this month. Alright guys, that's it. Press start to draw, signing off.